This is a 1930 National Steel. This thing can play music so pretty that it'll make you cry. Or it can take the enamel off your teeth. To make you cry either way. And you know, what do I feel like doing right now? Well, let's put it this way. Pretty is for weenies. I just played pretty. It's time to take the enamel off your teeth. Do a little dentistry. All right, this is called CEO. It's a tune I wrote for a friend. I won't do you the whole story right now because I know it's late. But it stands for Comanche Executive Officer. You can, if you run movies in your head, you know, when you're listening to music, you can run whatever you want. Of course, I can't stop you, but you all have to start with the same scene. Okay, it's just before sunup. It's silhouetted on the ridge, right over there, let's say, are some Indians on horseback. Beyond that, it's all yours. I don't know, maybe they're listening to Hendrix on their iPods.
here at the Kent stage with Stephen Bennett. How you doing, Stephen? It's good to see you. Hey, tell us a little bit. Actually, this is a show by musicians for musicians, so they're actually interested in what you're playing.
By musicians for morticians?
Yeah, by morticians, by dead folks.
Yeah, wonderful.
Anyway, tell us about the harp guitar and how you had it built or you found it.
Well, I had that particular harp guitar that I was playing tonight built, but it's a replica of an instrument that belonged to my great-grandfather, which goes back to 1909, which I inherited, I don't know, about 1988 or so. I got my hands on that, and that instrument is in perfect condition still. I just don't like to travel with it.
So you've heard him play, so you had inspiration. You've seen a harp guitar. But
no, I really didn't hear him play. I mean, he was on the West Coast, and I was growing up on the East Coast, and so I really didn't interact with him very much, and he died when I was about 12 years old, so I really maybe heard him once, and I really don't even remember that. So
did you have any harp guitarists that you listened to that were an inspiration, or is it something you just started developing?
No, there aren't any harp guitarists. There weren't any harp guitarists to listen to. I mean, it's the instrument's been around for as long as guitars have been around, people have been trying to put extra strings on them. Okay, like 400 years. So, but still, it's kind of an oddball instrument. It always has been, and to this day, I really, there's very little historically that's out there, in the way of recordings or.
Well, before doing this show and shooting these Kent shows, I had never seen him either.
Yeah, most of the time, if people have seen a harp guitar, up to maybe about 15 years ago, if they had seen it at all, it was as a curiosity, kind of hanging on the wall of a music shop. Then Michael Hedges came along, and he played a few songs on harp guitar, but he was always photographed with a harp guitar, so that people got used to seeing him a little bit there, but really just there's a few of us out there, but not very many, and it's too bad because it's a wonderful sounding instrument.
And the National Steel, tell me a little bit about that. How did you find that and start playing that?
Well, back in about 1980, I was working in a department store, and yeah, it was a long time ago. And the manager brought this thing in to use as part of a display. He had found it in an apartment that he moved into in Atlanta in the '60s, and he didn't play or anything. He just dragged this thing around for the next however many years, and then. As I say, one day brought it in to use as part of a display, and I didn't know exactly what it was. I just knew that it was a very cool sounding guitar, and that I was going to acquire it somehow or another. So I did.
You cackled and ran off with it?
Well, no, actually, he loaned it to me for several years, and then I told him I really wanted to buy it, and he wouldn't. He wouldn't sell it to me. He said, "Just take it. It's yours."
That's awesome, and it sounds great. I mean, it sounds great. What do you string it with? What kind of strings are it?
Guitar strings, actually.
And what are some of your favorite venues? Where do you like to play?
I like to play wherever somebody's listening. I've played for 5 people. I've played for 5,000 people. It's probably about the biggest crowd I ever played for, and it doesn't really matter to me. I mean, obviously you have to have enough to make the economics work out, but beyond that, it doesn't really matter as long as people are listening. Some of my absolute favorite shows I've ever done were for like 50 people. It's best not to be in a big theater with 50 people, but if you're in a small place, 50 people that are totally into the music is a wonderful thing. So it just depends. As long as somebody's listening, it doesn't matter wherever around the world it is.
That's what makes you good. I appreciate your time. Thanks for being on, and we'll look for you soon. Okay. Take care.